Hello and welcome to the second part of my December/early January pickups. So last time we literally had too many books to get through in one video. So I've had to split it into two. And even now, I'm not going to be cleaning up absolutely everything because there's just too much that's come my way. However, there is plenty for us to take a look at. And that's what we're going to be doing today. So I've got a little run of Agatha Christie. I've got some Ian Fleming's. And I've got a huge run of Hutchinson's pocket library for us to have a look at. So without further ado, sit back, relax, and let's get to it. Okay, so we'll start off with this one. So the famous title, it was pretty much the last edition of this that I didn't actually own. And what I've done, I've just covered up the offending word just for the sake of this video. But this was actually a really, really nice copy. Now, what happened was I've been on the lookout for one for ages, and it came in a lot of other Agatha Christie books, most of them with covers by Tom Adams or earlier Fontana editions from the 50s and 60s, which I also really like. But what happened was when the seller sent the books to me, she sent that one, which was correct, and then a whole load of other Agatha Christie books, which were nothing to do with the particular lot that I bought. So I messaged them, and they were really good about it. Said, "Yeah, genuine error. These things do happen," and it's true, they do. So they just sent on. She said, "Keep all the books that we've sent you. And if you've got any doubles, just give them to charity," which is exactly what I'll do. And she sent out the right books. So I've actually got a fair little run of Agatha Christie books to go through today to be cleaned up, some of which I definitely do need, which is really cool. I certainly haven't got this one. This is the movie tie-in adaptation to the ABC murders. Well, I've seen this one before, but I've never owned a copy. So that's pretty good. Pleased with that one. All I'm really doing with these, I'm going to give them the once over, and then I'm going to be comparing them, some of them at least, with the copies that are already in my collection. So I don't think, on the whole, these are going to be too bad, but they probably are going to need like the once over. So this one's got a little £1.50 price in. Now, as well as these Agatha Christie books, and I've got a handful of James Bond paperbacks, which once again I bought as a little lot, but I was only after the one book. The majority of what we're going to see today are from the 1930s there, Hutchinson's pocket library, and these are real tough books to find nowadays, but don't really sell for a lot. They're just, they're just quite scarce, and I got them pretty cheap because I don't like paying a lot for those particular ones, because so they're not exactly full of collectible authors or anything like that, but at the same time the price was just about right for me to buy the whole lot. So we're going to have a look at those, but I'm not going to take the time to clean and repair them today, because it would just be too much of a job in the one video. And as I said, this is like a supplementary. So I will keep those Hutchinsons back for a separate dedicated cleaning video quite soon. I might even, if I haven't got time to do it on my main channel, I might even do it on my dedicated book cleaning channel, potentially. Listed down. So this is one of the earlier sort of Fontana ones. A little bit worse for wear, that. So this is very much borderline if I'm even going to keep this one. But if it's an edition I haven't got, I'd rather just even have it as a filler rather than not have it at all. So it is a reprint, so don't know, I'm a bit on the fence about that one. I'll keep it for now because it may still be better than nothing. Murder in Mesopotamia. But these, as I said, they were virtually free, so I can't exactly complain. It's not like I've paid a fortune for them or anything. This is quite a nice one. Don't remember this as well. This adaptation, or this edition rather, of Murder on the Orient Express. But even if they're reprints in Fontana, if it's a different cover to the one that I've already got, generally speaking, I will keep it, the same as I do with my Pam books, because I collect Christie in paperback anyway. That's a second impression, which makes me think an earlier printing possibly had a different cover again, which I may well have already. So it'd be nice to have like an extra one. Hickory Dickory Dock. And certainly during lockdowns, apparently Christie had a massive revival, and lots of people were getting into her again. This one's going to need re-glue in there, but quite a simple re-glue by the look of it. Yeah, a lot of people got into her again, and she's had a little resurgence in popularity. I've been enjoying watching the David Suchet Poirots on BritBox, which is it is a British only streaming service, a similar sort of setup to Netflix, but it is UK only, and it's a combination. My Pritt stick is almost gone. I'm going to need to put this on manually. It's a combination of programs from BBC and ITV, and they've actually started. I've been subscribed ever since it started, but they've really upped their game lately, and they've been adding more and more sort of cult TV stuff as time has been going on. Certainly, literally this week, as I film this, Roger Moore's The Saint has been added, the colour episodes of The Saint at least, so that's cool. They're getting into some of the ITC stuff now. But I don't believe there is a US equivalent of BritBox at the moment. But it's good to see some of that content is finally getting to see the light. Like the complete Doctor Who, for example, you can just tune in and all of that is there on demand. It is, as I said, it works very, very much like Netflix, but it's very much for British shows. And it does have a few exclusives at the same time. There we are. So a bit of a long-winded way of doing it, but it's because my Pritt stick is very low. Probably another reason not to do the Hutchinsons today. But there we are. That's given that one a bit of a running repair. This one I'm certain I've got a crooked house. Absolutely certain I've got this one, but once again I'll give it a clean because it might be an edition that's slightly different to my own one. So it's the first from 1959, or it might be better than the one that I've got. So I just don't know at the moment until I check it out. This is a later Tom Adams cover one with the sort of the decomposing seagull on the front, pocket full of Ryan, and these editions are absolutely great. I'm still in the process of trying to put a set of them together, but they are out there. But I'm sort of slightly reluctant to pick them off individually, even if they're like just a couple of pounds each, because they're the sort of things that do turn up in job lots, and I do regret. Admittedly, this is probably about 4 years ago, but I was in the city centre in town. There was a charity organisation, and they had a bookstall outside the local market, and I could have picked up a whole box of Tom Adams Christie's for like a tenner, and I turned it down literally because I just wasn't in a position to buy 80 books and clog them around town with me. But they were dirt cheap. It was for charity. I'm sure someone did very well there. I kick myself for not picking those up. That's a really, really great jacket, that Tom Adams one. I don't know if it's one I've already got though, but it's superb. This one here, I mentioned it in my recent video, The Magical World of Vintage Paperbacks. This is probably my all-time favourite Tom Adams cover for Destination Unknown. Really, really sort of psychedelic style. I've got a nice copy of this one anyway, but this is it's just a reprint from 1970. It's just gorgeous. I love that one to death. Oh, here's another copy of Taking Up the Flood. So there we are. So that's an even better example of that one. Actually, that's a slightly better one. Obviously a later reprint. But as I said, with the Tom Adams, I don't really mind having reprints as long as the overall cover is really nice and got the cover appeal, and that's a particularly great one. This one I know I've got. It's a later one, Pricking on the Thumbs. So that's definitely a spare. And I will take my spares, just like the woman said, and just drop them into the charity shop. Give another person a chance to read a few Christies. Death Comes as the End. This is the one set in Egypt. don't think I've got this later edition. Yeah, 1980. Bit late for me. 1980. Third Girl. That's quite a nice copy of that one. That might be an upgrade to the one I've got. Possibly. 1975 edition of that one. It's an earlier one. N or M. Another 60s Fontana. Yeah, 1962. That's the first of that one as well. I think I might have it, but maybe not that cover. Because they did sort of go typographical, so just text. And then they started adding in the illustrated jackets. And the last Christie we've got is Sad Cypress. Was she slain by a fair, cruel maid? I don't know. A little bit worn, this one. Third impression, 1963. Okay, now we've got 3 Bond books to look at. And if you remember, I said I picked up a little lot. And the reason I picked up this little lot was for this one. So it's the director's edition of Live and Let Die, which is one I didn't have. This guy here was Roger Vernon Hunt was his name. And he was related to Alan Boss of Pan. And basically he was... he was used, his likeness was used to be a fictional James Bond on the cover of just 5 editions. So there was Live and Let Die, of Moonraker, which is the rarest one, Goldfinger, which is that one there, From Russia with Love, and Dr. No. And that's the 5 rather, which had the director's covers. So I believe after Moonraker, the Dr. No is the next hardest one to find, and it's the one I haven't got yet, but I was glad to get Live and Let Die out of the way. All first editions of Goldfinger are the director's edition, so that one I say is the most common of all. And if you've got a particularly nice copy of Gold, a really mint one of this, it's only about £10 to £12. One in this sort of state, £2.99. It's just a reading copy, as it were. This is the 3rd printing. But as I said, all the early ones of Goldfinger are the director's edition. It was a big seller. So the only chance I'll keep this one is if there was a price change, because I'm going for all the variations as well. And I don't think so. So some of the later Bond books have got 3 and 6. They put the price up by a shilling. This one's 2 and 6. That's got a tiny little bit of edge wear to the bottom of the spine. So I'm just going to put a bit of glue on that one, like so. Squit a bit of that in. Looks like it's going to be a multi-jobber. It's got like the first layer in, and like a lot of the covers, they're made of several bits of paper. So you glue the first bit down, and then you have to glue it again to do the second bit, like so. So that just looks a little bit better, doesn't it? It's not looking quite as beaten up, but really it is only a reading copy, that. And lastly, a copy of Moonraker, not the director's one, just a standard reprint. This may be one I actually need, although he's a bit worn on the, to be honest. So even for a reprint, when I pick up the reprints, I like them to be pretty nice condition. But this is one of the 3 and 6 ones, so they did put the price up. And there are small variances in it, but it's in such a sorry old state, it doesn't really warrant doing it. As I said, I bought the whole lot simply for the directors of Live and Let Die, which isn't too bad at all. That was the only one I actually wanted in that little lot. Okay, so I've been through them. I've done a little bit of run and repair. The last sort of step of the process is to give them a brush. So I've got my shoe brush here. So we'll give all of these a bit of a brush off. And then we will give them a polish as well. So in no particular order. quite a bit coming off the top as usual. That's the area of, which is always bad, isn't it? Of course, I mentioned there that I was going to just take these doubles of the Christies into the charity shop to let someone else read them, and I'm sure they'll take them. But the last time I went in with a bag of, I bought a few job lots of like miscellaneous books. There was quite a bit of non-fiction and things that just didn't interest me one little bit. And I took into the first charity shop, which was the Sue Ryder, the cancer one. Oh, we're not taking books anymore. Literally, they stopped taking books. So I went down to the children's hospice, and I said, these are really good ones, you know, and they said, yes, please, thank you very much. But I couldn't believe that the Sue Ryder shop had stopped taking paperbacks. You know, I thought, well, when's this happened, you know? Maybe they just didn't have anyone around who could sort them or process them. Lots of dust coming off the tops of these, but they just look so much better once they've been done. Lovely. So the last step of the cleaning process is to give them, these particular ones can all have a polish because they've got glossy covers. And then to finish off then we'll go through the Hutchinsons. So get the old polisheroonie out. So usually in my monthly pickup videos I do go over what's been happening on the channel. But as I filmed this video, it's only been about a week since I filmed the last one. So not a great deal's happened, with the exception that the studio is coming along at a very swift pace now, which is great news. So I am very pleased with it. So we got the all the rubber flooring is in. The power is thankfully restored. I've started putting up some of the soundproofing. All the walls have been insulated now. This afternoon, myself and the wife are going to go out and look for a carpet to go on top of the rubber floor that's in there now, and we're off to IKEA later today to pick up like a 4x4 box sort of shelving arrangement, which I'm going to have behind me at one end of the for the set, one end of the studio, and the other end for different sorts of videos which I've got planned. I'm going to be picking up quite a nice looking, well, I'm going to try it first, but they've got quite a nice sort of minimalist sort of sofa, which will be really nice, I think, to have in there as well, also for when I'm not filming and just sort of preparing stuff. So I'm going to buy a little doormat as well. So I've got a few bits to pick up in IKEA today. But the main thing is I'm trying to track down a carpet to get that bought and laid later today or tomorrow. That is the plan, because that's sort of the last big thing to do. I don't think I've got enough soundproofing to do all the walls yet, so I'm going to need to order some more of that, and I'm going to ask Wendy to put the curtains up on the two windows at the weekend. We've got the material and all the things in hand for that to be done. So it's all coming together really rather nicely. But I've had a week off work, so I've been filming and doing shed stuff every single day. But that sadly has come to an end. And very soon, in another day. So I'll have to sort of do studio work and filming on my days off and try and fit it in as best I can. So that's why I wanted to get something done on the studio literally every single day this week if possible. And I pretty much managed that. So that's good news. So Live and Let Die. Pleased to get this one. I paid just a little over £20 for this one and the other two Bond books, but it was really just this edition I wanted. And I thought £20 wasn't a bad price for one of these. I've seen really immaculate ones go as high as £75. So £20 for that edition I thought was, I can live with that, you know. So I am very much hoping to increase my Patreon channel memberships in the next few months. I've changed it slightly in that when I do my Patreon segment, everybody, even if you are just like at a top supporter level where you pledge $1 or £1 in the UK, gets an on-screen credit in every single one of my videos, and not just on this channel, but on my dedicated book cleaning one. So if you do want immortality in one of my videos for as little as £1, plus of course getting early access to at least one video a week, sometimes more often than that, then do please head to patreon.com and go to Jules Burt and support me there, or you can do it right here on YouTube. Just hit the channel join button and you just select what tier you'd like a top supporter or executive producer or studio boss. There are many levels to be had, and if you want one of the higher ones, you can have a customized sort of card, you know, with a name on or a website link or whatever you would like. I don't mind at all. So those ones there, and they polish up quite nicely. These, when you first look at them, you think, oh, what state these are in. But then a little bit of time taken to clean them up can make a huge difference. It's a shame. I was hoping that someone splashed their tea along the top there. How dare they? Oh, it is coming off. Just about. How careless of them. There we are. That's come out quite nice, isn't it? Oh, Mr. Sheen, you've done it again with your wonders. Yeah, I think that's definitely an improvement over the one that I've got already. And it's a real favourite of that. Let's just leave that there to admire a little bit longer. And I've definitely got a double of it. So someone else will be able to enjoy that as well. I'm seeing double. It's happened quite a bit lately. It's interesting that it's the same picture, but that one's got far more of a red tint to it than this one. I wonder what the date is. So that's... yeah, that one there is actually a later one. This is an early one. This is late 60s because it's got 20p and 4 shillings. Yeah, it's 1970, just as decimalisation was coming in. Yeah, this one at 30p is probably what, mid-70s? 72. So I wonder what happened there. The artwork does seem clearer on this one, doesn't it? A little variation, maybe. Hickory dickory dock. Lovely. What a mess they make, eh? What a mess. Absolutely gorgeous edition, this, of Murder on the Orient Express. Very, very nice. And you do feel that the publishers, whether they were Pan, Penguin or Fontana, who were all publishing Christie at the same time, they all had different versions of her books. You do feel that they really went to town and they were all trying to outdo each other. And I have a feeling that Christie herself was very, very shrewd, a shrewd businesswoman, or she had a particularly good agent. And she got these publishers all trying to outdo each other with how good that they could do her books, publish her books, because this really is too far gone. I don't care. I'm not going to keep that one. That's to the charity shop with it. I think they were all trying to outdo each other, and consequently they were forever changing the jackets and doing things like that to try and improve the sales of her books. And she ended up being the winner, of course, you know. Yes, I might end up keeping the Moonraker if I haven't already got a 3 and 6 one, but this one is really, as I said, with reprints I do only like to have them in nice condition, and that one's real. I don't think there's much we can do. I think it is just a reading copy. I'm not going to keep it. I'll put it in my reading set. If you've never read the original Fleming Bond books, they are brilliant. Absolutely fantastic. I love them all. Every single one is just superb. What a writer he was. Yeah, so some of these Christies were a little bit worse for wear, but as I said, I got the whole lot really just for the one book, and these other ones were a bonus, really. So they've come up pretty good, to be honest, so I'll be able to go up and compare those with my own copies, and I've got a checklist going of all the Tom Adams covers that I want to get, and which ones I'm missing. A visual checklist, I should say, because even Tom Adams did more than one edition of some of the books, so he did more than one painting for some of the stories. So that's them. So next thing we're going to do is have a look at the Hutchinson books. Now I am literally just going to look at these. I'm not going to go through them to clean them. I'm going to do that as a dedicated video because we're half an hour in already, and there's quite a lot of these to get through, so I think I'll do these as a dedicated video. But I just thought, since I like to record what I pick up, I think it would be quite fun to just have a look at these raw as they were, you know, as they've come to me. I've literally not been through any of these yet. So on the whole, most of these came out in the late 30s, early 1940s. Often they're not dated, but as you can see, like the very first one we picked up here, it's got some pencil inside. There's no date on it. It needs the spine re-gluing. There's a lot of work involved to get these up to scratch. Look at the tops of them, they've got bits of fluff coming off and all sorts here, you know. They're just in a real tired old state, and because of that, I'm not going to dwell on them any longer than I need to in this video. I have literally just touched these. I haven't really been through them at all, so I haven't had a good look at what's even in here. They are from all the different sorts of series. These are the Pocket Library ones. It looks like a double. So there's going to be some duplicates. There's another copy of this one, Compton Mackenzie's Rich Lies. In fact, there's a double of that one. Look, I'm seeing double everywhere. Some are in wrappers and some are not. This one's got a wrapper there. That one's with or without a wrapper. So these are going to be quite a job to get these all cleaned and sorted, but it's okay, I don't mind. G.P. Stern, Pantomime. It's going to hurt you, won't it? Look, number 9. I wonder if this is like an original. Trying to tell what printing some of these are is a real pain. So difficult to work out, and sometimes almost impossible. What's this poking out the top here? A bus ticket or something like that. Oh, it's going to be something. Oh, it looks like just like a little slither from a newspaper that someone was using as a bookmark. I like it when you get old bus tickets or train or tube tickets. If it's those ones, I usually save them. I've got a little box of them. This is probably a wartime one because it's got like an advert on the back. Yeah, look, Hutchinson's Pictorial History of the War. Yes, it's like a 40s one, early 40s. It would be nice to come across a services edition, wouldn't it? That'd be cool. Now, the Hutchinson Pocket Guide, actually guide number 1 by the look of it. The Isle of Wight. See, as I said, I got these quite cheap off quite an elderly couple, and they've got more to come. There's more from this sort of period, you know. The Three Lovers, number 41. After this, you need OXO. Apparently you do. The Georgian, oh, this is number 1. The Hutchinson's Pocket Library, number 1, the Georgian House. 12 listed on the back. Who can tell? It's obviously an early-ish print, isn't it? But this thing about 42nd thousands or 40,000, that generally isn't very accurate. It's just one of the things they put on to make the sales seem a bit inflated. But from books from this period, this is dated 1936, books from this period, I don't actually mind what printings they are in a lot of cases, you know. Number 42, this one's in a wrapper. Not spotted any services ones yet, which is a shame, and the Western ones apparently are pretty scarce. This is another guide. Now, I do have a shelf full of these Hutchinsons already, and I've got quite a few from the Hutchinson Crime Club. So, be interesting to see how these all fit in with them, to be honest. There is quite a good website. In fact, it's the only website with any sort of information on these books from Hutchinson, because there's so many of them. And it's called the Paperback Revolution. And they concentrate on a lot of these sorts of books. Pre-war British paperbacks, of which there were so many. A lot of them jumping on the tail end of Penguin books, trying to have some of their thunder and get a slice of the sixpenny market. Some did better than others, these Hutchinsons. There's so many different series. Like, you can't say they were not a success because there's so many of them around. They did subjects which Penguin wouldn't touch, such as romance. They didn't do a lot of, and then westerns, for example. But as you can see, some of these are pretty far gone. Other ones are just going to need a real good repair job if I can do it. But that's going to be the subject of at least another hour-long video. This is their non-fiction ones, so they got like the grid. This is number 8. I've got a few of these as well already in my collection. Turning points in history. And it is interesting when you see one publisher's output, the variety of the stuff that you come up against. There's number 2, Spears Against Us. It's funny that in the last couple of years, so many of these like pre-war publishers have come my way. Really quite out of the blue sometimes. It's got a little map in the back, that one. And yeah, these came from a collection of a couple who are quite old now, octogenarians. They're in their 80s plus, I believe. And they were big readers in their day. And just like many people, having to do a bit of downsizing as they get older. Can't keep everything, can you? I'm certainly going to be downsizing at some point. Probably starting with the toys. Let me just pull the camera out of it. Just giving us a little bit more room. The Menace of Japan, look at that. 1938, that one's got a printing date on. Pre-Pearl Harbor, interesting. If only they'd listened. That's interesting, PC Wren, Driftwood Spirit, that's got a 6-penny sticker on the front there. Interesting. Got the dust coming off it. It reminds me of the lot I got a year or two ago, that big pan lot. And there was a lot of these and they were all super dusty. You couldn't believe it. So these are going to need quite a bit of work, which is why this is very much a first pass through, just to see what we've got to deal with here. But this is probably a 2-hour job to clean the 50 or so of these that I've got. So that's why I'm not rushing to do it in today's video. A couple of vintage bookmarks there. To mark your page, this early one, isn't it? From Barbara Pankin, with love and good wishes. Scarlet Pimpernel or Poor Man's Weatherglass, so called as the flower will only expand in fine weather. Look at that. It's quite a nice little bookmark, that one. I think I'll keep that one. This one, greetings and best wishes. With love, Teas and Sal from Switch. Hampton Hotel in Edinburgh. Well, slip them in there. It's nice when you find little bits of ephemera like that, isn't it, in these sorts of books? You never can tell what you might come across. And I've found all sorts over the years, you know. I've actually got this one, but I don't know if I've got volume 1 or volume 2. This is volume 2. Shape of Things to Come. Ah, yes. Birkenhead, he was famous for his true crime books. And there's volume 1, so whichever one I'm missing, good to know that I've got it. And that was number 1 in the non-fiction series as well. So that's cool. And I like H.G. Wells pretty much. Most of his stuff's cool. Yeah, when you feel these, they're just not the same sort of quality as the vintage Penguin books of the time. Even when they're in nice condition like this one. They're just not quite up to the same standard, you know. But that's not to say they're not interesting all the same, particularly if you're a big paperback collector. Look at that one, covers off that one completely. But I believe I'm doing everyone a service by saving some of these from the scrap heap. Well, it's a slightly later designed one, but we've still not seen any sign of any service editions. I've definitely got a few in Hutchinson. But it looks like we're not going to see any today. I've got about a dozen left to go here. With Lawrence in Arabia. I've not seen this colour before, the purple. Talbot Mundy's Caesar Dies. I wonder what the purple's supposed to... Ah, look, a crime book society. This is a crime one. That's cool. Probably the hardest ones to find these days because they rarely survive. I like green here. This is another one with an over sticker, but it's got a 7p over sticker. Makes me think these were on the shelf for a while and they decided to up the price, keep up with inflation. But when you think the majority of these books now are almost 80 to 90 years old. Mussolini. I think these are way too good to get rid of, and they do need to be preserved if at all possible. Because certainly there's not many people collecting this sort of book. But as I said, this is a massive job, which I'm not going to undertake in this particular sort of pickups video, but I did at least want to show you what I've got before I, when I've got a bit more time, I shall film the actual cleaning process. So there you go. I hope you didn't mind this slightly edited version of my latest book pickups video. As I said, there's a huge old wedge of these Hutchinsons to go through, and I think it's best to give them their own dedicated video down the line. If you have enjoyed today's video, don't forget, do please hit the subscribe button. Do please give the video a like if you have enjoyed it, and I'll look forward to seeing you again very soon with another video. Bye.